A somber day. I woke up early one morning. The votes had been tallied, only to awaken to the sad and somber news that Donald Trump had defeated Kamala Harris for the race to the White House. It was as if a dark cloud had covered the nation. The hopes and aspirations of blacks was once again met with disappointment, only to be let down by a system and society in which they have somehow come to trust, only to be betrayed. Rudely awakened by the realization that America had not changed. America picked her man, Donald J. Trump, their champion. A man who I believe in the inner recesses of his heart and the dark corners of his mind secretly desires to be the first dictator of America, rewriting the Constitution from "we the people" to "I the president." For those not familiar with German and Jewish history, let me enlighten you in the simplest way that I can. There was a man who wanted to be an architect but never amounted to be more than a portrait painter. He lived off the wealth of an inheritance. A man who was said to have daydreamed a lot, but whose ideas would make him one day into one of the greatest demagogues in human history. A man, like many great figures in history, he had the gift of oration, and he used that gift to galvanize a broken nation into a war machine like the world has ever seen. As a demagogue, he planted to the base fears and prejudice of a people in desperate need of a hero. A man who would rise to what they be called Führer of Nazi Germany. He would rebuild the nation of a broken people, and with the help of millions of willing tools, offer the world a final solution to their problem: the complete extermination of all European Jews. Yes, a white nationalist leader and dictator who adopted the notion of a superior Aryan race that would rule supreme for 1,000 years. Leading up to World War II, Hitler seemed unstoppable. His quest for world domination seemed imminent and finally within reach. He ruled with an iron fist, intimidating and even not tolerating a hint of dissent. He ruled through fear and intimidation. He schemed and spied on his own people with a special police force called the Gestapo. He wrote his famous book called Mein Kampf that outlined his plan for the complete extermination of all European Jews, called The Final Solution, long before he came to power. It would seem that public broadcast would prove to be the greatest form of concealment. Hitler rounded up European Jews in boxcars, isolating them in what was called the Warsaw ghettos. In his arrogance, he viewed the Jews and others as inferior. He was purported to have cleared out all of the hospitals, asylums, and psych wards first, before carrying out his fiendish plot intended for the Jews. He starved them. Hitler starved them to death. Images of emaciated Jewish bodies shocked the world, and the world did nothing. Others were forced to dig mass graves in which they would be systematically murdered by firing squads. Does this story seem even remotely familiar? Dr. King said that America is dying of a slow death, not from an external force, but an internal rot. All ungodly empires, nations, and regimes will eventually fall under the weight of their own arrogance. I am Orapotist Maximus. I've done a lot of soul searching. I've done a lot of thinking. I've come to the conclusion that we as people, we just got to continue to press forward. But what I know, I'm just a poet.